Let's check in with one of my favorite whipping horses, Oberlin College. So last we checked with them, they lost the case and they were ordered to pay tens of millions of dollars. Now we got an update. Woke Oberlin College is hit with another $4 million in interest charges for dragging its heels and paying the $36 million defamation damages to family-run bakery over false racism claims. So they thought they could just get away with not paying, and then they went to court again, and it's like, now you're going to have to pay more for being such little bitches. So Woke Ohio College now faces paying another $4 million in interest on top of its $36 million damages to a family-run bakery it almost destroyed with false racism allegations. Oberlin College was last month told it must pay an additional fee equivalent to around $4,000 a day for each of the 1,000 days it refused to pony up to Gibson's Bakery, the Chronicle reported. Now, what we need is for the cops to actually do their job and force them to pay it. So Oberlin College, led by one of its disgraced ex-deans, Meredith Raimundo, lied that the bakery staff had racially profiled 3 black students in current year -6, despite the trio later admitting shoplifting. Just wait till you find out what happened with Raimundo here. That's probably going to piss you the fuck off. That sparked a boycott and protest led by a bullhorn-waving Raimundo who almost destroyed Gibson's, who successfully won the defamation payout in current year -3, and they still haven't paid. But Oberlin has refused to pay up and asked for another stay in paying the Gibsons what they're owed because of a pending appeal against the ruling against them. That appeal is set to be heard by the Ohio State Supreme Court after 2 lower courts rejected Oberlin's attempts to slither out of paying the Gibsons. The lawyers for the Gibson family said Oberlin failed to file the correct paperwork to justify their latest delaying tactic and must pay up. The legal stalemate continues for now. Well, they're just going to keep dragging this along, and they're going to end up having to pay even more. This is how we win. The Gibson family, who owns the 137-year-old bakery, won damages after a jury found they suffered horrific stress as a result of Oberlin's lies and involvement in the boycotting of the business. That is good, man. The bakery in Oberlin, Ohio, has struggled to survive and had to slash half its staff earlier this year after the current year -6 instance saw Oberlin College students and senior staff members brand the family as racist. They did so after the Gibsons called the cops on 3 black shoplifters who stole wine and attacked a staff member who were later convicted. A court ordered Oberlin College and its former dean of students, Meredith Raimundo, to pay out $44 million in defamation in current year -3. This was later reduced to $33 million, in which the college has refused to pay, and is being hit with a little over $4 million in interest fees. The judgment now stands at more than $36 million, which includes the $31.6 million plus interest, or about $4,300 a day, daily over the 1,064 days since. In a court filing on Wednesday, Oberlin College has asked the Ohio Supreme Court to issue an order halting the payment of the $36 million while the college appeals its rulings by 2 lower courts. Keep dragging it out, and the fees will just keep getting stacked, man. Both the college and the bakery have appealed in the Ohio Supreme Court, but a court date to hear the appeals has not been set. In a court filing on May 27th, attorneys for the bakery said the court asked the court to order the college to pay the judgment, saying the college failed to file the necessary motion with the 9th District Court of Appeals to halt the process. God, man, if they keep dragging it out, just hit them with another $4 million later. Now, Oberlin College got an appeal bond through Zurich American Insurance Company. The Chronicle reported this ensures the judgment can be paid if their appeals are unsuccessful. So after the appeal was decided and the college took the case to the House Supreme Court, the Gibsons reversed course, filing a motion at the trial court not against Oberlin but against Zurich to collect under the surety bond to try to moot this appeal, Oberlin's lawyers wrote. Oberlin College wrote the filing that it asked the court to issue a confirmatory stay to stop the Gibsons' efforts to collect the bond issued by Zurich. They're going to do everything they can to not have to pay. They destroyed this family-owned business, and now they're going to try to play the victim. So even if neither the trial court stay nor the terms of the bond contemplated that the stay would remain in effect pending the exhaustion of the defendant's appeals, the Ohio Supreme Court would have the authority to extend the stay and continue the term of the bond to encompass Oberlin's pending appeal. So Oberlin has arrogantly declared it still won't pay out after losing a state court appeal back in April. It has also refused to apologize despite multiple college staff and numerous resources being deployed to the protests and boycotts. And this right here is the most infuriating story of all. Meanwhile, Raimundo has landed on her feet with a cozy new job in Georgia despite her appalling behavior. So, single-handedly destroy your previous employer? No big deal. You'll just get another cushy job at a different one. The saga inflicted by college has dragged on for so long that two senior members of the Gibson family died with a stain on their reputation while waiting for the cash they're legally entitled to. Alan Gibson Sr., who marched with Martin Luther King Jr., died February of this year at age 93. And one of his sons, David, died of pancreatic cancer in November of current year -3. Currently, I must say, age 65. He revealed he'd agreed to avoid mentioning the disease during the defamation trial for fear of influencing the jury. Yeah, at the very least, milk this fucking corrupt college for all they're worth to make sure the family never has to work again. But he released a message before his death saying he believed Oberlin bosses were trying to wait the family out before paying in hopes that his death would take the heat off them. Oh, make them pay double just for that. So the family's attorney, Lee Plakas, said an unofficial boycott among Oberlin staff and students remains in place, with a bakery quiet when DailyMail.com visited on Tuesday morning. Plakas explained that when Gibson's hits the news, such as DailyMail.com report published yesterday, it was followed up by Fox News. Orders usually roll in. The family opened up this morning to 100 inquiries from prospective customers, but Plakas said the business eventually tails off as the story fades from memory, leaving the Gibsons scrabbling around trying to make ends meet. Yeah, that it sucks when you base your entire business around a college town and then the college turns on you. Yeah, they should have to pay double just for that. The Raimundo, who also threatened to unleash a woke mob on a professor who criticized the protest, is now free to wreak havoc at Oglethorpe Liberal Arts College in Atlanta. So now you know the next college to add to your list of definitely never go there, Oglethorpe Liberal Arts College in Atlanta. She took up a position there as vice president of student affairs and has not responded to DailyMail.com's request for comments on her bullying behavior. She doesn't need to. So after causing all this damage and burning everything in her wake, she just walked away scot-free. Yeah, they need to go after her too, personally, not just the college. Make that bitch pay. So attorney Lee Plakas, who represents the Gibsons, told Daily Mail in April that the college's false accusations continue to hurt the family today. Make them pay for all the extra, man. Go ahead. Business has suffered and the family is doing everything they possibly can to continue the bakery's tradition, he said, noting how the bakery was forced to cut back its staff, going from nearly a dozen workers to 3 or 4 total employees. Plakas said the Gibsons are forced to downsize operations because business has significantly slowed and that they're just trying to hold on until the justice system forces the college to pay for the damages they caused. So this is their strategy. They not only were waiting until the 2 leaders of the lawsuit died, now they're waiting for the family to go broke. It's like, well, if they go bankrupt and they can't keep fighting this, we won't have to pay them. These dirty motherfuckers are actually trying to do that. So the Gibsons are understandably concerned, the attorney explained. They're very disappointed with the college to this date, even with this record amount of evidence that they were wrong is acting this way. Oh, they'll never admit they're wrong. The only way to win is to completely destroy them in court. Now, Oberlin can take the case to the Ohio Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court. Legal analysts say the famously woke college may be deploying cutthroat legal tactics in a bid to force the Gibsons to settle for less, in return avoiding the stress of further legal tussles. If you got the strength of will and the resources to do so, if you know they're trying to do this, you go at them harder. So after the allegations of racial profiling surfaced, Oberlin College terminated its contract with Gibson's, which had been a long-time provider to the school's dining hall facility, despite the fact the bakery never received any complaints about its product, prices, or professionalism. The college feared its student body would have food tantrums if they continued to serve Gibson products, so it ceased using the bakery as food service provider. So the college became the appeasers rather than the moderators, he said. The reason they canceled the long-standing food service order with Gibson's was to appease students because they feared that students would throw tantrums. And they threw tantrums anyway. Now, see, they knew the students would throw tantrums because that's how they indoctrinated them. This was on purpose. Here's a college where the tuition is approximately $70,000 per year. $70,000 per year? Holy fuck. What a goddamn waste of money. And I would expect if you send children to a college and pay that tuition, you could reasonably expect there will be an adult in the room. The adult will be a moderating voice, but these adults were pouring gasoline on what should have been a spark and it became an inferno. These adults are who turned your kids into these worthless activists. They didn't just become this way for no reason, okay? How many more stories are parents going to have to hear of like other parents sending their kids to college and what comes back is a shrieking activist? No, college is what does this to them. They did this to them. The drama that severed the family's longstanding reputation in the Oberlin community also took a toll on the health of Alan and his son, David Gibson, 65, both of whom died waiting for the college's settlement. The impact on the family is equally dramatic, if not more so. Alan, known as Grandpa Gibson, had reportedly dedicated his life to being a good citizen and maintaining upstanding legacy his ancestors created when they opened the bakery in 1885. Grandpa Gibson told his son David, "I've lived my life the right way and done all the right things, and I've helped people of all colors and ethnic backgrounds. At the end of my hard life, they're trying to brand me and my family as racist." So Plagueis recalled signing David's testimony during the trial against Oberlin College. Yeah, these evil motherfuckers, man, they do this routinely. They destroy the lives of good people so they can virtue signal over their corpses. So that moment was poignant moment in the trial. It was hard for David Gibson to get out the testimony because he knew how much these false claims impacted and hurt Grandpa Gibson, who had dedicated his life to doing the right thing. Grandpa marched with Martin Luther King for fairness and equality. So for the college to sacrifice the great Gibson to appease their students had a dramatic impact on his health. Well, also remember, the college created those fucking terrorists. Now, when you ruin someone's reputation, you can't go to the doctor. You have to live with it. Yep. David, who died in November of current year -3, was also committed to preserving the family's reputation despite his ongoing battle with pancreatic cancer. Defending their reputation and protecting the family legacy was so important to the family that although David had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer during the trial and was receiving treatment, he was there every day at the trial when he was suffering. God, yeah, that just every line just makes me fucking hate the pieces of shit at this college more and more. So even though he was ill, David refused to make the jury aware of his condition, fearing they might sympathize for him and his family, the attorney alleged. David said the whole purpose was a vindication of the family's long reputation, and he wanted any determination to be solely on the facts and the history. He was concerned if the jury knew he was being treated for cancer, that would in some way impact their verdict in his favor. He didn't want the verdict colored in any way. Meanwhile, compare what this guy did to what the fucking college did and how they're acting. And they claim to be the good guys. So Plagueis shared how David believed the facts would speak for themselves and he wanted his family to be judged on their conduct and history of the community. The 65-year-old knew the college helped propagate false allegation and had a long history of racism and was confident the evidence submitted to the jury would prove it. Yeah, I think it's the college that should be labeled as racist at this point. So David's dying wish was that his wife, Lorna Gibson, continued to fight for their family's bakery and legacy. Lorna is working hard. She feels vulnerable and somewhat alone without David and Grandpa, Plagueis said to the now owner of Gibson's Bakery. David made her promise before he passed away that she would do everything she humanly could do to keep the bakery going, not let the actions of Oberlin College end the long and proud history of the bakery. So here's an idea, guys. How about you just move the bakery? Like, definitely keep the lawsuit up. Make these fuckers pay for what they've done. But if you're not welcome in your current community, why don't you just pack up and move to a different community that isn't full of pieces of shit? Like, stop serving these communities that hate you. You could reopen Gibson's Bakery somewhere else. Like, go to Florida. Yeah, the attorney said Lorna believes that working as much as humanly possible, she's fulfilling her promise to her late husband. Well, that's good at least. Yeah, so definitely the community has made it clear they hate you, so tell them to go fuck themselves and leave. And sue them extra hard. But there's no reason to be fighting for that community anymore, though. Like, fight to make them pay what they owe, and then just get out. Like, take all that money and go somewhere else with it.